Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before I begin, I would like to tell you a lot's happened in courts this week across the country. From suo motu petitions highlighting various issues have been taken up by the top court to developments that made headlines in the high courts and other courts. The week was pretty interesting, at least legally. I'm excited to take you through these updates in June's second week. In its suo motu case pertaining to migrant crisis, Supreme Court passed several directions to the state government, such as transporting migrant workers within 15 days to their native places, considering the drawl of cases against migrants for alleged lockdown violations. The cases will now be heard on July 8th in order for the court to take token of progress made in this regard. Supreme Court took suo motu cognizance of the treatment of COVID-19 patients and undignified handling of dead bodies and issued notices to Delhi, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu governments. The court, on its own motion, came in light of a huge report that was telecast on India TV on June 10th, showing helpless patients at hospital in Delhi. Bench noted that the sorry state of affairs had emerged in some states despite the images of dead bodies thrown in garbage waste. The bench also pulled up the Delhi government for low COVID testing rates. This matter will now be taken up on June 17th. Top court passed orders in the issue of challenge to the Ministry of Home Affairs order of March 29th, stipulating full payment of wages to employees during lockdown. Court stated that the establishments and workers shall negotiate on full payment of wages regardless of the order, and the state government would effectuate this. Apart from this, the bench noted that in this ongoing negotiation would not mean that workers cannot continue working in the said establishment. Coercive action against employers who do not pay full wages shall continue. The adjusted gross revenue issue came up before hearing. Court asked the Department of Telecommunications to reconsider claims raised on PSUs based off October 2019 verdict, stating that it amounted to a misuse of the said verdict. Let me give you some background to this. So, on October 24, 2019, the Supreme Court had directed the telecom giants Vodafone, Bharti Airtel, and Tata Teleservices to pay ADR dues of Rs 92,000 crores with an interest rate of 8% per annum. On March 16 this year, the union through DOT moved to the top court, praying that the telecoms were allowed to make payments in a staggered fashion over a period of 20 years. The bench on that date had lashed out the center, stating that the assessment of this time frame at their own accord was uncalled for, but listed the matter for 2 weeks after. Last week, when the matter was finally taken up, the bench also directed the telecom firms to query in a suitable time frame for payment of ADR and file affidavits in this regard. It will now hear on June 30. In a special Sunday sitting, the Supreme Court refused to stay the direction issued by Shimla Police to journalist Vinod Dua under Section 160 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, asking him to appear before them in relation to investigation in an FIR alleging sedition. A bench comprising Justice UU Lalit, Mohan M., and Vineet Saran issued notice to the centre, Himachal Pradesh government and police. The court has, however, directed that Doa should not be arrested until July 6, the next hearing date for the case. The police may interrogate Doa at his residence, the bench added. The court had also asked for a status report on probe by the state government. The Supreme Court issued notice in a petition seeking NIA and CBI probe into the Palghar lynching case. A bench comprising Justice Ashok Bhushan, M.R. Shah, and V. Ramasubramaniam issued notice in the petitions filed by Hindu sadhus of Sri Panch Dashban, Juna Akhada, and relatives of the two deceased sadhus, alleging bias by the state authorities currently investigating the matter. While the petition filed by Juna Akhada sadhus brought CBI probe, the petition filed by Ghanshyam Upadhyay sought NIA probe. The top court proceeded to issue to Maharashtra government, Maharashtra DGP, central government, NIA and CBI returnable within 2 weeks. The matter will be taken up in the second week of July. In a relief to thousands of home buyers of the stalled Amrapali project, the Supreme Court directed all financial institutions to disperse the balance fund and restructure the amounts. A bench comprising Justice Arun Mishra, UU Lalit ordered that the banks and financial institutions shall release loans to home buyers whose loans have been sanctioned, notwithstanding the fact that their accounts are declared as NPAs. Supreme Court took note of 35 children testing positive for coronavirus in a government-run shelter home in Royapuram, Chennai, and sought a status report from the state government of Tamil Nadu and secretary regarding reasons for spread of contagion and steps taken to control its further spread. A bench of Justice L. Nageshwara Rao, Krishna Murari, and S. Ravindra Bhatt also sought status report from different state governments on steps taken to protect children in shelter homes from the deadly novel coronavirus and also compliance of its April 3 order. In light of this, the court also noted that it shall circulate a questionnaire which is to be communicated to the state governments, which Juvenile Justices Committees of State shall supply, providing requisite information sought for in the questionnaire before June 30, 2020. The Supreme Court directed Uttar Pradesh government to keep 37,339 posts of assistant teachers or the Shiksha Mitra vacant, thereby stating that the ongoing selection process of teachers in the state. A bench comprising Justice M.M. and Vineet Sharan was hearing a plea filed by Uttar Pradesh Prathamik Shiksha Mitra Association challenging the Allahabad High Court's order in a case related to the recruitment of 69,000 assistant teachers. Disapproving a High Court judgment which reduced the percentage of functional disability of a man who had to amputate lower limb due to an accident, the Supreme Court observed that the compensation for loss of future earning should not be elusive. A bench comprising Justice R.F. Nariman, Navin Sinha, and B.R. Gavai observed that the compensation for loss of future earnings has to be proper and just so as to enable the person to live a life of dignity with compensation not being elusive. The Supreme Court reiterated that the High Court in its revisional jurisdiction conferred by Section 20 of the Kerala Building, Lease and Rent Control Act cannot interfere with the finding of the fact by appellate authority unless there is perversity or misappreciation of evidence by it. In the instant case, the Supreme Court noted that the High Court had interfered with the findings of fact by the first appellate authority. Bench stated that inferring with its finding of fact again without any perversity or misappropriation of evidence by appellate authority would clearly be outside the High Court's ken in its revisional jurisdiction. The Supreme Court came heavily on a social worker who had filed a plea seeking ban and prohibition on the sale and use of Coca-Cola, Thums Up and soft drinks, citing health concerns on their consumption. The bench imposed a cost of rupees 5 lakh on the petitioner, observing that the petitioner lacked technical knowledge on the subject and his assertions stood unsubstantiated. Further to this, the bench stated that the plea had been fixed for extraneous reasons, whereby an invocation of the jurisdiction of Article 32 of the Constitution stood as an abuse of the process. Can anticipatory bail, once granted, be reviewed? The Supreme Court issued a notice in a special leave petition which poses this legal issue. Staying the proceedings against the accused before the High Court, the bench issued in the SLP, which contends that though he was granted bail earlier, another judge has proceeded to issue notice to him on the premise that the bail was granted erroneously earlier. It is contended that there is no such power of review in such a matter, and thus the bail already granted could not have been reviewed in this manner by another judge on the judicial side. The Supreme Court sought to know from the Ministry of Finance and Reserve Bank of India if deferment of payments on account of a 6-month loan moratorium will entail accrual of interest on interest. The bench said that its query was on this limited aspect of interest on interest. The Solicitor General Tushar Mehta told the bench that Finance Ministry is convening a meeting with RBI on the issue over the weekend. The hearing was accordingly adjourned till June 17. The Supreme Court has directed the petitioners to convey their suggestions to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in a plea seeking proper accommodations facilities, as well as remuneration to doctors who were at the front line of COVID-19 pandemic. Supreme Court bench informed Solicitor General that the intervention of the court could not have been required in the instant matter and that the government had to do more as it was a matter of concern regarding the health of the doctors. The matter is now listed for June 17. Supreme Court on Friday sought response from State of Uttar Pradesh as to why there was an inconsistency in quarantine guidelines for COVID issued by the Noida Authority and those of national guidelines. The bench passed this order in a plea pertaining to the regulation of interstate movement in Delhi NCR, prominently in the cities of Noida, Gurgaon and Ghaziabad, adjoining to the NCT of Delhi. Due to the contradictory policies of these various states and their constant altering thereof, this case is now listed to be heard on June 17th. Supreme Court, while observing that it was the state government's prerogative to decide as to how liquor is to be sold, allowed the government of Tamil Nadu to devise methods, that is, via online or physical sale. The Supreme Court bench heard the appeal filed by Tamil Nadu State Marketing Corporation TASMAC against the Madras High Court order, which had directed for closure of liquor shops in the state of Tamil Nadu during lockdown imposed in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. The top court disposed of the petition filed by Sanghir Ahmed Khan with the direction that Rs 25 lakhs deposited in the Supreme Court registry by Khan can be disbursed to the families of 5 migrant workers who had died while travelling home after requisite verification of their particulars and details is done. Khan, in order to show bona fide intention, had agreed to submit a sum of Rs 25 lakh in the registry of Supreme Court towards the cost of travel of migrants belonging to districts of Basti and Sant Kabir Nagar, irrespective of their caste, creed and religion. The bench noted that the petitioner had deposited Rs 25 lakhs in the registry as had been duly averred in his plea. Supreme Court allowed the Medical Council of India's plea to extend the last date grant to a letter of permission for establishment of new medical colleges as well as for the renewal of existing colleges and increase in intake capacity in MBBS and super specialty medical courses. The bench requested to extend the deadline for admission to postgraduate courses from academic year 2020 to 21 from May 31st to July 31st. The top court issued notice to the centre and state governments in a public interest litigation seeking guidelines from the National Disaster Management Authority to prevent cases of child trafficking which have suddenly surged amid lockdown. The bench, comprising CGI S.A. Bobde, Justice A.S. Bopanna, and Hrishikesh Roy, asked senior advocate H.S. Fulka, counsel for petitioner, as well as the Solicitor General, to do some research on measures to curb the issue of engaging child labour. Attributing to this as the reason behind the menace of child trafficking, the Chief Justice asks the councils to ideate and come up with suggestions before the next hearing. The Supreme Court issued notice on habeas corpus petition filed against the government of Jammu and Kashmir's detention order of octogenarian Congress leader and former Union Minister Professor Saifuddin Soz, who has been under house arrest since 5th August 2019. The bench issued the notice after hearing senior advocates P. Chidambaram and Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who submitted that Soz has been kept under detention for over 10 months without properly communicating to him the grounds of detention. The court refused to entertain a batch of pleas seeking to restrain the centre from proceeding with All India Council for UG and PG medical courses without implementing 50% OBC reservation in Tamil Nadu. A bench of Justice L. Nageshwar Rao, Krishna Murari, and Ravindra Bhatt expressed disinclination to the entertainment of petitions, following which the petitioner chose to withdraw the same. The court has, however, granted them the liberty to approach the High Court. For more such video, don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.